The letter A assumes an absolute authority in our language today, occupying pole position in our lists, commanding superiority in our ranks, and denoting excellence in our grades. This status, of course, comes from its role as the first letter of our alphabet. It fixes itself early on in our memories as the first letter of our ABCs that we learned to sing as children. Looking up at the brightly coloured chart that adorned the wall of my primary school classroom, I can still remember the crimson character that started the whole frieze off, informing me definitively that A is for apple. This prime status of A is so strong and so widely accepted that it goes unquestioned. Yet question it we should. Why does A come first? And who put it there? The answers to those simple questions are ancient and, frankly, pretty mysterious. They involve a long journey across time and space that connects my classroom to the banks of the Nile via Greece and Italy. The characters of this story are a whole host of peoples and their languages, all linked in a chain of adopting, adapting, and passing on their way of writing. The cast includes Romans, Greeks, Egyptians, Judeans, Phoenicians, and, of course, the English. The plot takes some surprising turns. Nothing about our modern letters can be taken for granted. For example, English A is commonly and correctly considered to be a vowel, one of 5 vowel letters, along with E, I, O, and U. Why not Y? Well, look forward to chapter Y. Yet, this was not always the case. A once stood for a consonant, a very common one, for which the English alphabet today, in fact, has no letter. So, who came up with our alphabet? Why is A the first letter? And how did it change from a consonant to a vowel? This chapter sets out to answer these questions. It is a speedy tour through the earliest eras of our alphabet. It introduces 3 key peoples in the story: Egyptians, Phoenicians, and Greeks. Our journey begins among the Egyptians. It is a sunny day, and a man takes shelter from the heat in a street not far from the east bank of the Nile. Between the houses, he can catch glimpses of that mighty river, full of ships travelling up and down. He, a humble merchant, had himself arrived by one such boat, travelling upriver to visit this city of Thebes, which is prosperous and bustling. The crowds increase as he walks towards the temple of the god Amun, where he is to meet with a potential client. The temple is a grand sight, with royal patronage having been constructed on the orders of Pharaoh Senusret I himself. The current ruler is Amenemhat III, and Egypt is enjoying a state of unity and stability that historians of the future will call its Middle Kingdom, 1,800 years before Christ. Not that our merchant thinks of his day and age as being before anyone or anything. Looking up at the great temples, statues, and obelisks, it is clear to the visitor that these Egyptians are a highly literate people. The buildings are covered with hieroglyphs, many painted and carved with painstaking detail. These are official inscriptions intended to impress and to endure, existing somewhere between writing and art. However, when he had stopped at a tavern for a drink, the visitor had also seen people writing in a more casual style, composing messages and lists with a brush, ink, and papyrus. The local language is Egyptian, which our visitor to Thebes understands and speaks pretty well, but the written language remains tricky. Having been around for over 1,000 years, this system of pictures and symbols is sophisticated and complex. He knows that some hieroglyphs simply stand for a particular object or idea, the thing that they appear to represent. Others stand for a sound, or 2 sounds together, or even 3. Others are used instead to tell you something about the type of thing that precedes them, whether it is a man or a woman, a god, a building, a drink, a boat. To complicate matters, in principle, a given hieroglyph can be put to all 3 of these uses in different contexts and by different scribes. Moreover, the number of hieroglyphs that the Egyptians use seems beyond count. Future experts will reckon around 700. Try as he might, Egyptian writing still makes the visitor's head spin. He himself is not Egyptian. His origins lie far to the northeast, beyond the kingdom of the Nile, and his mother tongue is very different. What he and his people speak is one dialect of an expanding family of languages that will one day include internationally famous members such as Arabic and Hebrew.